Today I am going to be driving in a different lane than I normally drive in. Of course, we're going to be discussing finance talks today, but I'm going to deep dive on the stock side. And usually I stay in my lane. I don't do the stocks itself, but I'm excited about this one company and this one stock, and a lot of people are excited as well. So today we are diving into the frenzy of it all around, you guessed it, Nvidia. Nvidia. Yes. Nvidia is the chip making giant that Wall Street is acting like it's the California gold rush all over again. Let me say that again. So, yes, Nvidia, the chip making giant, is what we're discussing today. From record breaking profits to fears of a bubble, Nvidia has become the picks and shovels supplier of the AI revolution. And boy, this is excitement for sure. And some are saying, is this excitement healthy or unhealthy? Yeah, some people think it's dangerously overheated. So let's break it down. Let's definitely break it down and talk about NVIDIA today. So I'm going into a different lane only because I have shares in NVIDIA and I do follow, and I'm here for it. I am a part of this gold rush. So I want to see what's going to happen. I'm excited. So today I am coming from an article from CNN. It was written by Allison Morrow, and it's titled "Why Wall Street Has Developed an Unhealthy Obsession with Nvidia." Right? So this article was very detailed, and I'm going to break it down for you. We're going to talk about the highlights, the main like summary, and kind of deep dive into some discussion very quickly. So you will find the article link in the description, and I'll also put it in the comments. So let's jump right in. Now, Wall Street. Wall Street has developed what some call an unhealthy obsession with NVIDIA. And this article discusses that. It explains that NVIDIA earnings report, so the company's earnings report, is now being treated like the Super Bowl of finance, having some investors literally throwing hosting parties, like Super Bowl hosting parties. You know, that's a thought. Maybe I have no hosting parties here, but the company's earnings report is, as people are excited, like it's the Super Bowl. I'm excited too because I got my stock. So why? Why? Nvidia has been crushing, like literally crushing expectations quarterly, quarter after quarter. And if you had invested just $1,000 2 years ago, man, you would be up to about 3,000 in profit today. Now, I wish I would have taken advantage of it 2 years or 3 years ago. I took advantage of it and got my stock like over a year ago, but I'm happy with how it's performing. Of course, stocks are going to go up and down, up and down. But you have to hang in there and dollar cost average and hang in there. And that's what I did. I just I keep adding it, keep buying more. keep seeing how it's going to go. So I'm excited about that too. So I'll say that again. It says, why? Why is all the uproar? Well, Nvidia, like again, they've been crushing it. And if you just invested $1,000 2 years ago, you would be profit in the profits today. Now, it also says that the stock is up 30% in 2025 alone, compared to 10% for the S&P 500. So there you have it in a summary of the article from CNN. Now, this brings like a concern to some. And it says here, where the concern comes in is Nvidia has grown so massive, so quickly that some analysts worry that we're in a bubble. I understand both sides. I understand the excitement of the AI. And what it brings and the excitement of making our making productivity easier using AI and all that AI has to offer. But I do also understand the other side, the other hand, is where people may worry that we're in an AI bubble, is happening too fast. What's going to come of it? So let's take a look more at like some key highlights from this article. We'll start with there are three key highlights, I'll say it that way, from this article that I gathered. One, it talks about NVIDIA market power. Two, it talks about AI dependency on NVIDIA. And three, the bubble question. But NVIDIA market power, AI dependency on NVIDIA, and the bubble question. So let's start with NVIDIA market power. Nvidia market cap is over 4 trillion. Wow. And larger than any company in history. It makes up about 8% of the S&P 500, meaning if you don't own any Nvidia stock, no matter how it moves, it'll affect your portfolio. So even if you don't have stock, but you have your portfolio or your 401k, when Nvidia make moves, it's impacting uh, everyone's portfolio. Now, globally, Nvidia accounts for 3.6% of the GDP, bigger than many entire countries. We'll say that. And that's was the highlight for how Nvidia market power, how their market power is. Now let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence, dependency on Nvidia. It says here that most AI tools, ChatGPT, Anthropic, I'll say it that way. Let me say that again. Most AI tools, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Google, Gemini, and Amazon models they all run on NVIDIA chips, right? Now, NVIDIA has essentially become the picks and the shovels supplier of the AI gold rush. So we're in the AI gold rush, and it's so many. I'm learning about. I'm am learning and teaching myself AI, and it's so many different applications, and this, do that. Some people think it's just Chat GPT. No, it's a whole world out there. There are so many AI applications. There are AI bots that can help you and do work, and so it's so exciting. But AI definitely depends on Nvidia. So let's deep dive into the question about the bubble, right? What happens if AI doesn't live up to its hype, right? What happens? Where do we go? What would our society look like, right? I love AI and I love the ideal that it's taken us in a direction for future, right? But what happens if it doesn't live up to its hype? And that's what this article was speaking towards in the question about the bubble. So, analysts warn in this article, it indicates that analysts warn that massive investment in AI could be the Silicon Valley snake oil. And they say that towards if productivity and wages don't rise. Wow. That's something to think about, right? Let me say that again because I was a little choppy with it, but let me say that again. In this article, analysts warn that massive investments in AI could be the Silicon Valley snake oil if productivity in the US and wages don't rise. So that's something to think about. AI related investments have contributed more to the US GDP growth than consumer spending. So consumers aren't spending because there's a lot going on in the economy. A lot of people lost their jobs, so consumers aren't spending. Now, that's shocking since consumer spending usually drives 70% of the economy. So there you have it. Now, some things to consider, things to think about from the article, just things to consider and think about. It mentioned like a gold rush mentality. So Nvidia is the modern day supplier, is what they're calling picks and shovels. But what happens when the gold run out? We can't answer that question. But I'm here for the ride, right? And it also gives you something to think about in terms of market risk. Can one company being this large be dangerous for the stability of global markets? It's something to think about. Additionally, AI reality check. Beyond the hype, where are the real productivity gains from AI? That's also something to think about. What happens to the consumers? What's the consumer impact? If AI investments outpace consumer spending, what happens to the everyday economy? Don't know, right? So we're all here for it. We're all on this ride together. The Nvidia boom, the gold rush. I got my stock. Also, and this was in the news. What happens with AI chatbots when they shown troubling side effects of misinformation to influencing vulnerable people? How should society balance innovation with responsibility? Those are all things to talk about. And that last discussion was more towards mental health. Now, what are going to be the takeaways from this? Now, NVIDIA's success is definitely undeniable. That's a takeaway. However, Wall Street's obsession may not be sustainable, is what the article says. Now, like past bubbles, and those past bubbles are the .com bubble, the housing bubble, and the crypto bubble, the hype of it all can blind us to real risk. It can blind us to real risk, is what the article points out. Now, the AI revolution, of course, it's exciting. I'm excited by it. I may have to host some stock parties for Nvidia. I don't think so. I'm not that person. I like to be to myself. But if you guys want to host a meetup, a Teams meet, or a Zoom meeting, I'll do that. But uh, and going back here, it says the last takeaway. It says AI revolution is exciting, but true value comes only if it raises productivity, wages raise, and real consumer benefits raise. So, as investors and everyday people, we need to ask, are we funding innovation or fueling speculation? So, there you have it. What do you think? Is Nvidia a once in a lifetime opportunity? I believe so. And are we all just caught up in the AI bubble that could burst? Drop your comments below in the comments section. I love to hear your thoughts and perspective on this article. Again, this article comes from CNN, and it was written by Allison Morrow. I have the link here below so you could take a look at that. Now, also keep in mind that if you enjoyed hearing me break down the gold rush with Nvidia today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, everyone, you got to keep learning, you got to keep questioning, and you got to keep taking care of both your financial and health wellness. Thank you for watching. Bye.